Welcome everyone to Stadium Journey Obstructed Views, the show where a couple of guys in a couple of countries have a couple of beers and discuss a stadium somewhere in the world and their experiences there. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And we're excited to be here with you tonight. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the Stadium Journey YouTube channel, like the video, even if you don't, we won't tell, and leave a comment. The official Stadium Journey review of today's venue can be found at stadiumjourney.com or look right below, because the link is right over there. So let's get rolling. Dave, what are you drinking today?
Okay, tell me you've done this before.
I've done this before.
Awesome. Go into the beer store, the liquor store, or wherever you purchase beer regularly, and you're looking around and you're not really sure what you're looking for, something different. And you see a can and it's kind of interesting, and you buy it solely on the name because the name is cool.
Yeah, I've done that.
That's what I got today. So when I went into the LCBO, I asked the question, why has Zane lost his avocado bag? So this is Zane lost his avocado bag, and it's from Refined Fool Brewing Company in Sarnia, Ontario.
Is it an avocado beer?
It is not an avocado beer. But you know what? If it was, I would have tried it anyway. So they refer to it as a champagne-like IPA. And, you know, funny enough, it does kind of have that a little bit of a champagne-y kind of taste.
Is it like a shandy kind of deal?
Yeah, it's like it's citrusy, like a Hogarten. But it does have like a little bit of champagne kind of bite to it. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
All right. It's nice when those things work out, isn't it?
Yes.
So we've been talking about how the latest trend in the sports world is for all these teams to get their own special beers to sell at the ballpark, stuff like that. Well, it's not just baseball teams that do this. Hockey teams are getting in on the action too. So with hockey season starting, we're recording this on October 5th, and hockey season is right around the corner. I think exhibition games have already started. I went to the Worcester Railers up in Worcester, Mass., and I picked up an Off the Rails. It's called a crushable lager made by Bay State Brewing Company. And it is very crushable. This thing goes down smooth. I guess maybe the crushable stands for hockey. Maybe it stands for you crush the thing. I took it as I really crushed this beer when I drank it because I was done with it before I knew it. So crushable can mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
If we were visiting today's destination, we might be drinking a Czech Swing Pilsner, or maybe we might be drinking a Mr. Oktoberfest lager from Broken Bat Brewing, because today we're talking about American Family Field, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. Before we dive in, let's take a look at the stadium vitals. Okay, folks, before we get started talking about the Milwaukee Brewers, I want to apologize, especially to you Brewers fans out there listening, for all the times I'm going to call American Family Field Miller Park, because I'm sure it's going to happen several times during this discussion. So that being said, when I tally, and working for Stadium Journey, we love to rank things. So when people ask me, what's your favorite park? Rank the parks you've been to. I almost did it. I almost called it Miller Park already. Milwaukee is usually down near the bottom. You've been there, Dave. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, I mean, I would say you're wrong. For me, it's probably a little bit more middle of the pack. I kind of understand it, but I think it probably starts with the roof, and
I may have a dome bias because most of my ones near the bottom are domes.
But it's the functionality, right? We just talked about Minnesota, and how the hell do they sell tickets in Minnesota in April?
No way.
I don't get it.
No way.
Or Detroit, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't want to sit out there. Even in Boston, I wouldn't want to go to Fenway in April
sucks.
Or May.
Playing out, it sucks. You go into a weeknight game at Fenway Park in April, and Boston is a lot warmer than Wisconsin, I think, at least in that time of the year.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's the functionality piece of it. And we've said it before, we're used to flying in and flying out, and we look at, and you know, who's booking their travel to Milwaukee in April, right? So, you know, we want to go in July and in August when it's nice, when it's baseball weather. So, I'm trying to think. I don't remember being there when it was closed. I might have been, because I've been probably about 3 times, and I don't think I've been when it's closed.
Yeah, I've only been there with it open as well.
But the fallback is Rogers Center to me, and you know, it took a dome stadium to kind of the next level. I think it incorporated the big windows at the back, which makes it feel a little bit more like a ballpark. You have that natural light coming in,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have the big view, right? I mean, you're looking out, if you can actually look that far, you're looking out at the interstate or whatever.
Yeah, it's facing away from downtown.
But I think Milwaukee has done a good job with, well, you know, why look out there? Why not look at Bernie Brewer's clubhouse? And Bernie Brewer's right there with the big slide. You know, they had the big clock. I don't know what they have now, if they have a big clock that says it's Miller time, but
well, it is Milwaukee, so maybe
I don't know. I did ask around, and I was like, do they still call it Miller Park up there? And he's like, yeah, most people still call it Miller Park. I'm like, okay, well, I won't feel bad about kind of referring to it as Miller Park.
And yeah, American Family Field. I don't even know what American Family is. What is it?
I believe it's insurance.
Okay.
But you know, let's be honest. Miller Park was kind of the perfect corporate name for.
It fit the city
for that spot. I mean, even if like what's more Milwaukee than Miller beer?
Right.
You know, Bob Uecker, is that more Milwaukee? Maybe.
We'll
Old Milwaukee, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
Harley Davidson, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's in Milwaukee too.
Yeah, but that's an oh yeah.
So yeah, the ballpark is not situated like in a lot of other cities. I mean, it's in the city of Milwaukee, but it's not downtown. It's like you said, it's out by the highway, surrounded by parking lots, kind of like a Kansas City. Mm-hmm. But Milwaukee fans have acclimated to that and really made that their own. The tailgating scene at the Brewers games are something you're not going to find anywhere else in the major leagues.
Yeah, I think Milwaukee tailgating is probably the best tailgating scene in baseball. And the concession situation inside is, I mean, my experience is it's pretty good. It without really studying it never blew me away. I discovered brachos, which are pretty darn cool. But yeah, you know, you think Milwaukee, you think beer and brats, and you go in and, well, what do you want to have? You want to experience it, like beer and brats, like
sure.
Milwaukee, German.
I gotta tell
right?
you, the frozen custard there is on point as well. That was some of the best ice cream I've had anywhere in any ballpark.
Something for next time. But it's interesting how Milwaukee is sort of this linchpin franchise in Major League Baseball without actually trying to be. I mean, it doesn't have the Wrigley-ness to it, like that the Cubs do. But considering it lives in the shadow of 2 Major League ball teams, right? Like, how long did it takes literally an hour to get from, you know, maybe not Wrigley, because getting out of Wrigley and driving in that spot is pretty bad. But like, if you're on the highway by Soldier Field, it's going to take you an hour to get from, say, Soldier Field to American Family Field. So it's right there. Competition is right there. But it was the baby. It was the baby of the commissioner, you know, forever. The team was established in 1969, and the team moved to Milwaukee in 1970. Right. So it was established as the Seattle Pilots, which was a disaster. If you really want to get into the Seattle Pilots, read Ball 4 by Jim Bouton. He spent most of that year with the Pilots, and it was pretty bad. But Bud Selig was the guy. Bud Selig is a god in Milwaukee.
Indeed.
And deservedly so, I guess. He brought baseball back after the Braves left. And it wasn't just the Braves leaving Milwaukee for Atlanta. The Braves left and took Hank Aaron with them, right? To the point where I don't remember this. Maybe you were a little bit more acclimated as to what was going on, but Hank Aaron's swan song was as a Brewer.
Right. Yeah. He came back for his final season. It wasn't as bad as, say, Willie Mays playing for the Mets, but It wasn't very impressive.
Right.
I think that was around 1975 or so.
Right. And, Bud Selig rewrote the book on how to get a baseball franchise, how to get a professional sports franchise. He negotiated with the city and they built County Stadium. And they used it as leverage to bring in a team.
Yes.
Right. And then furthermore, he used leverage of moving the team out of Milwaukee to build Miller Park, which was Miller Park for almost 20 years, I guess. Yeah, just about 20 years. It was built it opened in 2001.
Which was built on the same land as the original stadium.
Okay.
Right in the same parking lot. In fact, and you'll see in the pictures that we showed during the podcast, it was just built right next to it, like right beyond the outfield fence. And the original field is still there. And they've converted it into, there's a little league field in the middle of all these parking lots. There is a little league field.
Well, then
they moved to Milwaukee County Stadium.
County Stadium was built to lure the Braves to Milwaukee, and then they must have done a big renovation.
Sure.
To get the Brewers back.
Right.
And of course he bought them at a perfect time, right? Because the Pilots had no money and they were just going under, and he kind of just swooped in and And Bud Selig is so revered that there is a whole museum to Bud Selig in the park. So I don't know how accessible this is during game day. If you do the tour, then you get to do the Bud Selig experience.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
Which is a whole sort of theater. It tells the whole story of Bud Selig. I remember Mark's talking about when he did it, and there was a lady there, and she was just crying about how, Bud Selig and everything that he did and how amazing he was. And
yeah, I don't know if you remember. We started this tangent by talking about County Stadium. The Packers used to play a couple of games there every year.
I do remember that the Packers played a couple games in Milwaukee a year, and it was a whole different era, wasn't it? Right, like
sure where they thought Lambeau was not sustainable, and that's before they redid Lambeau to make it nice.
Yeah. But to go back where we were to start, Milwaukee, it's not the greatest facility bones wise, I guess. They do everything they can to make it work though. So I think they learned a lot from like the Rogers Center. The roof opens and closes in 10 minutes, which is half the time that the Rogers Center does. Now, maybe that means it's not as much of a spectacle as it is at the Rogers Center, where they better stop the game because nobody's going to watch the game. Everybody's going to watch the roof.
Kind of an unfortunate design choice, though, in my eyes.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's just got to work. The exterior has lots of brick. It looks nice. It
looks gigantic in the midst of all those parking lots.
Yes. Yes. That's one thing that I would say. And having experienced the Brewers at two separate occasions, once when they were pretty hot and once when they were pretty not, it's a palpable difference. It's a great place when the Brewers are doing well, which, in the last, maybe not this year because they didn't make the playoffs, but they had made it, 3, 4, 5 seasons previous, and won the division a few times, which,
right.
When you're in a division with the Cardinals, that's saying something. but yeah, oh my gosh, a great atmosphere in there when it's packed. Just a lot of fun stuff. If you are going like really soon, like in the next year, take your radio, take your headphones, and take a moment and listen to Bob Uecker on the radio. I mean, I know maybe he's a little cliche with being a part of the Major League movie or whatever, but he's probably one of my favorite guys to listen to. He's not going to be around forever. Not, his expiry date is a lot closer than his birth date for sure. But yeah, the guy is just such a character. When you do the tour and you go up to the room, the press room there, you see the fridge. Like, that's a big deal. Where's the Bob Uecker fridge? Because it's full of Miller Lite.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yep. And I wouldn't say that he was kind of like Harry Carey, who kind of sounded like he was sloshed, the 6th inning, 7th inning, most games. But yeah, I think he does definitely enjoy his beer during the games.
And if you like, while you're visiting, while you're at a Brewers game, you can go visit Bob Uecker, sort of. They have a statue of Mr. Uecker up in the famous Bob Uecker seats. If you're old enough to remember the old Miller Lite commercials, he that's where he really became famous with his personality and shilling the beers. The famous, I must be sitting in the front row.
Yeah.
And they put him all the way up in the back in the last row of the seats. So the Brewers have honored Bob Uecker by putting a statue of him sitting in the last row behind a pole.
Yeah, you could actually buy, because there's a few seats there that are obstructed views. You could, at one point, you could buy them for, like, they were sold on game days only for $1. Yeah. But yeah, everybody goes and gets their picture up there with Bob Uecker. I mean, it's not the greatest statue. It is a little bit creepy, but it's a whole lot of fun. Our friend Dre was just there and had to get his picture up with Bob Uecker. And he, took a few pictures there, posted them on social media. I mean, that's kind of the thing to do. And there's just, they do have a significant history, but man, you have to be in that upper echelon in Milwaukee. You have to be big time. Like, their retired numbers, like, they're not like retiring everybody's number. They're not building statues for anyone and their sister. Your retired numbers are Rolly Fingers, Robin Yount, Paul Molitor, Bud Selig, Bob Uecker, Hank Aaron, Jackie Robinson. Done.
It's quite a list.
It is. But, do you see anybody joining that list anytime soon?
No.
I don't.
No. And I like it when it's really, when honors like that are just very exclusive and hard to achieve.
Now it seems they have kind of gone a little bit the other way. They have done like the Wall of Honor, which is a little bit more broad, which I'm okay with.
That's fine.
I don't recall seeing it. I mean, I saw it from your pictures that you sent over, and some names there that are not as prevalent, Jim Gantner and what was the one you had? Sixto Lescano.
Yeah, Mike Caldwell. Bob Uecker's in there. That's the place for notable figures for the team. But an honor like a retired number should be a next level, and a statue I think should be a harder level. And the Brewers have some statues around the ballpark too.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's 3. I think it's Bud and Robin Yount
and Hank Aaron.
And do they have a Hank Aaron one?
I thought it was Hank Aaron, or is it not?
They definitely have a Bob Uecker one, because I don't often get my picture with things. I have my picture with the Bob Uecker statue, the one on the outside. Yeah,
they also have a statue honoring, because during the construction of Miller Park, there was an accident, a tragic accident, where 3 of the construction workers died, and they do have a statue of those 3 workers and a memorial to them that you can go visit. So
that's true. They also have the little field outside.
Yeah, that is the spot of the old county stadium.
And it is called, I have it here.
Starts with an
somewhere.
F. Starts with an F.
Hellfair?
All right, that's not an F, but yeah, that sounds right.
Hellfair Field.
Yeah.
The field
Yeah, it's
starts with
little
an F.
league size. So, yeah, and the actual spot of home plate is actually on the third base line. You can go take your picture with it. And they have a memorial to the world champion team that the Braves had in 2007. So,
Yeah, it's I think they do a lot. Game day atmosphere, there seems to be a lot going on. The sausage race, I'm not positive, but the sausage race, I think, was one of the first mascot races.
it was, yeah. Everybody
that
else
got
copied
some-
them.
They definitely got some notoriety, some publicity, and there was definitely some copycats going on.
Right.
Bernie Brewer is as good a mascot as you get. I like
Bernie is a focal point inside the stadium too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got Bernie's clubhouse. Now I don't know what the poor guy does. He just sits there all game waiting for a home run. But once the home run hits, he slides down his slide. I guess at County Stadium, they used to have a slide that went into like a big mug of beer.
Right, they did.
And wasn't there somebody who just got hurt going down?
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, some commentator from one of the networks that went down and hurt himself going down the slide.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Don't be messing with Bernie Brewer's territory.
Who knew a slide could be dangerous?
Yeah. One of the things I kind of dislike about baseball is this requirement that you have to play Take Me Out to the Ball game in the 7th inning stretch. And I like when teams like the Blue Jays do something a little bit different. You know, they do their own thing, and then it's, well, we have to play Take Me Out to the Ball game. So here we go. Let's do that. Well, in Milwaukee, they do roll out the barrels, and that's kind of a big deal. And, you know, coming from Kitchener-Waterloo, where Oktoberfest is huge, we have the largest Oktoberfest celebration, the largest Oktoberfest celebration outside of Frankfurt, Germany in the world. So, you know, to hear roll out the barrels, I mean, that just brings a big smile to my face. And, you know, I have a video on YouTube of them playing roll out the barrels. It's actually my most viewed video. Roll out the barrels at that time it was Miller Park. But if you're going to the Brewers game, you know, don't sleep on Milwaukee, the city. Man, there's a lot of great stuff going on there. The Riverwalk, just going down the Riverwalk alone on a nice day is just a great experience in and of itself.
Fantastic.
And if you're going down the Riverwalk, then you're going to have to stop with
the Bronze Fawns. You got to visit the Bronze Fawns. Life-size statue of Henry Winkler. I didn't realize Henry Winkler was that short.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, is this really how big the Fonz was? How do you beat all those people up?
So it took a lot of the mystique out of it for a kid who grew up at the height of Happy Days. Yeah. But yeah, the Riverwalk, and there is so much great food throughout Milwaukee. We talked about, you know, the frozen custard stands that are there at Cops. I think, yeah, it was Cops Frozen Custard, where they have great hamburgers, like an old time drive-in. Just going down the Riverwalk, you can get such great German food.
Yeah.
And a place that we like to stop in, AJ Bombers, and you know, you get a nice burger and you get a spotted cow. When you're in Wisconsin, you gotta have a spotted cow. I don't think it's a law. It actually is a law that you cannot buy a spotted cow outside of the state of Wisconsin.
So what? Everybody just smuggles it.
I know when we drove out,
it's like the 20s.
Our first visit, we tried one and it lived up to the hype. And yep, I bought 2 cases, put them in the trunk, and drove them back to Massachusetts.
Yeah, if you're looking for other stuff to do, of course the Harley Davidson Museum is there if you're into bikes. And the bobblehead, is it the Bobblehead Hall of Fame? I think it's the Bobblehead Hall of Fame.
And I forgot all about that last time I was there.
It's a fun little place. You know, you name it, and they've got it in a bobblehead form in there. It's a lot of fun. I don't recall it being very expensive. It's pretty innocuous. So that would be one that you're going to have to look up and go and see. And of course, other stuff to do. Of course, you could see the Bucks. You could see Marquette University. If you're into football and it's the fall, you can head north a couple hours, go to the Packers. I really enjoyed Milwaukee. To me, it's so underrated. It just lives in the shadow of Chicago. But holy, is it totally worth it?
We
If
talk
you like-
about those underrated cities, David. You're
Yeah.
right on target.
If you
there.
like
Yes.
cheese, you can stop at one of 35,000 different stops on the highway on the way to Milwaukee.
I don't know how everybody in Wisconsin isn't 400 pounds because, man, great cheese, great beer, sausages, bratwurst. It's just like my arteries clog just thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But and for me, it's not nearly as far as it is for you. We're at the point now, if we're going to Chicago, we're at least making a day trip to Milwaukee. It's that easy, and it's totally worth it. Totally worth it.
And if you're there in the summertime for a baseball game, there is a lot of baseball in that area. I mean, not even talking about Chicago. You've got a couple of teams in the Frontier League with brand new, beautiful ballparks. You got one in Franklin, and you got the Lake Country Dockhounds in Anamana. I'm going to butcher that name, but it starts with an O, and it's the name of the city is about this long. And you've got the Northwoods League with all kinds of great ballparks within an hour or two drive of Milwaukee. So plenty to do, plenty to see, plenty to eat. Makes for a great city for me. So.
I'm getting hungry. It's time to fire up the grill or something.
I think so. So that's a good point for us to wrap up our discussion of American Family Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you on the road again real soon. Cheers.
Cheers.